Today's Wednesday, August 29th, 2018, and it is raining here in Chicago.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, whenever or wherever you are listening. Oh, stop it already. Yeah, I know you're all crazy for this show. I know. Anyway, it's good to be here. This is show number 512, which is obviously over 500. I can do math. I can't pronounce words and names and whatnot, but I can do math. And that means, and it's also our end of the month prize pack giveaway show where I am going to be picking a name out of the imaginary hat of those that have subscribed for our e-newsletter and those on the Facebook page, and you may be walking away or may be receiving a $100 gift card, Visa gift card. It's as cold hard cash as I can send through the mail without the mailman or mail person taking it. Not that happens, but I was told as a young kid never send money through the mail because I think people can smell it or whatever. So anyway, yeah, we'll be giving that away at the end of the show along with some prizes or some goodies that have been donated from the companies listed in the show notes. So it is good to be here. Thank you for understanding. I'm not doing the show last week. This week was just as busy. I think every day so far I've been pretty much coming in around 3 o'clock in the morning just to try to get caught up. And I've realized that there are not enough hours in the day, unfortunately. But I'm prodding through it, putting plans in place to make life a little bit easier for me in the future. Unfortunately, that's not always the easiest thing to do, and it does take time to get to that point. So it's important that we kind of write down what our goals are, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, and just try to focus on the highest priority ones that we have to take care of. That's not always easy, though, when there are so many balls up in the air, and really you're trying to just try to get as much done as you possibly can. But at the end of the day, that kind of stress is all put upon ourselves, so that's another thing to take into consideration. Anyway, it is amazing. August is over with almost. September is right around the corner, and honestly, I don't know if Labor Day is Monday. Is Labor Day Monday? Do we get a Monday off already, or is it the next weekend? Anyway, I won't even try to figure that out right now. But anyway, we'll figure that out later on, and we will definitely be back for a show next week. So I will cover the week's news stories next and have you out of here shortly. So news is up next.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, this week was filled with articles relating to elevators not working, being broken down in senior facilities and older buildings, and I don't know if it was a full moon or if it's the heat or what. I know heat does affect elevators, and we see that a lot in the some of the projects that we are part of. But at the end of the day, it was like, holy crap, there's so many elevators going down. And all I can say is machine rooms are supposed to be climate controlled. They're supposed to be controlled so that the equipment runs as efficiently as possible. I know that elevator contractors out there do make those kind of recommendations to their clients and customers in terms of making sure the equipment is as reliable as possible. Funding, on the other hand, is not always in line or there to to take care of those kind of recommendations. And unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, the articles that are actually written and shared online don't get into any of those types of issues. Which is a concerning thing. Plus, there are a bunch of crazy people out there, which I think heat does bring that out in the world and people. And I know in Chicago, it seems to be when the heat happens and it's hot, there are more shootings, unfortunately, but it just seems to be what happens. So, okay, first news article of the show. There were Dallas hotel evacuated after elevator shaft fire. Nobody was hurt, thank goodness. And there's not a whole lot to talk about regarding that. Not quite sure what caused that. It could have been something, but there's so many ads on that page. I just got to get off of it because it's just killing my computer. Next news article, CEH, Chicago Elevator Association meeting is next week. We will have a presenter who will be giving a Chicago code update, Joe Donnelly. He actually heads the City of Chicago Advisory Elevator Commission or Committee, whatever it's called now. But anyway, so if you want to find out what's going on in the city of Chicago, make sure you don't miss this event. I got a reminder popping up on my computer behind me. Lots of reminders. Next news article, 15 to 20 people rescued in an elevator in Las Vegas, a New York building there. I don't know how you can figure out or write an article and just kind of approximate, maybe 15 to 20 people, 50, I don't know. Can't somebody count? Apparently not, but everybody was okay. I don't know. It sounds like the fire department received a call and then responded 9 minutes later. Not a very exciting email or news article to talk about. Oh man, I think Labor Day is this weekend. You think it is? No, it's got to be the following weekend. All right, it's going to drive me crazy, but we'll figure this out. Okay, next news article, China boy escalator not riding correctly. This is actually shared a few times, dailymail.com or .uk. I really do not like this news feed because they seem to just release a whole bunch of stuff just to try to generate ad revenue. And I hate linking it, but I did in this case. And they got so much stuff on the website popping up. But the reality is the little boy was leaning over the side of an escalator, got his head kind of wedged in between the wall and the escalator. It can be a very dangerous and tragic incident. Could have turned into that, but they were able to stop the escalator. But yeah, just ride escalators safely. Watch your kids at the same time. I've said it before. I'll say it again. TMZ has a stupid, not stupid article, but it seems like they just latch onto anything they can. But apparently they've got a video of Dennis Quaid's dog on an escalator, which was not safe. What was nice to see here, and I like Dennis Quaid, was that the ASPCA put out a warning a few years back about dangers of dogs on people movers or whatever, and I agree with 100%. Yeah, do not take animals or pets or anything on an escalator. Never do that. Next news article, invest in your elevators. And here's the first of many articles. Louisville woman rescued after elevator fell, got stuck in St. Catherine Court. Now, this is more, and this is all allegedly. I don't have all that information regarding really what happened other than the news report. But this is an authority. This is like a housing authority, I'm assuming, lower income housing for elderly. And a lot of these locations just do not have the funding to invest in their elevators, no matter how many interim facilities managers or department heads do their sound bites and their politically correct responses to why elevators are down. The reality is that at the end of the day, they're never going to say we just don't have the money to invest in it. They're not going to say that. And that's not necessarily what I believe is happening in this case, but I know in other projects I've been involved with, that has been a number one issue and concern in some of the lower income housing developments or facilities or buildings that have elevators. The other thing is just vandalism. And I saw that firsthand in the Chicago Housing Authority, elevators there being involved in those projects back in the 90s. And man, I think the tenants there just did not want their elevators to run. That was just their goal, was to break them. And I don't really quite understand that logic or that the line of thinking. But the reality is that, yeah, why, if you live in a 16 or 28 story building or 40, more than 5, 6, 7 floors, why would you want your elevators not to work? But yeah, so lots of articles relating to these and types of facilities or senior facility housing centers that definitely affected by elevators not working for certain. Okay, police seek man in attempted assault. This is closer to home in the city of Chicago. Videos are great. Cameras are great. Captured a gentleman here who they are seeking for questioning in an attempted criminal sexual assault that happened Friday on the near north side. They're going to find this guy. They will find this guy. This guy is on the news. ABC 7 Channel News reporting on this. But yeah, I don't know if it was the heat doing all this stuff or full moon or what. So they will catch this guy. So cameras definitely in many ways make the world a safer, better place. Okay, in Oman, 1 dead, 3 injured in mall escalator accident. And, when you look at this photo, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, if you're listening to it, you can click on the show links over at elevatorradioshow.com, and it should be the last show that you as of this week of August 29th. Apparently, an expatriate worker died and 3 others were injured after an escalator collapsed on top of them at an under-construction mall in the Sultan's capital. Royal Oman Police reported. I don't know who all these people in the blue outfits are, but I've never seen emergency first responders in like blue outfits. I feel like I'm looking at the Blue Man Group, not to take anything away from this, this incident, but I got to tell you, I've seen photos from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, of workers, and some of them don't even have shoes on. It makes me, appreciate being in the United States and the worker rules and laws that we have in place to protect workers. I just do. I can't believe. I mean, and I'm not saying this is what happened. They didn't have shoes and this is what happened, but you just got to wonder whether or not, building practices and building codes are being adopted or being implemented or being inspected based on what happens. I don't know what happened in this situation. Maybe they're just putting it in and it just fell. I don't know. But just still kind of scary. Anyway. Let's see here. I'm sorry. People are still trying to... I don't know if I linked this last week. I think I did. People are still trying to build a space elevator. I'm not going to talk about that. I talked about it on the last show. Next one is globalnews.ca. This is a article talking about a Toronto condo resident's irate over elevator repair delays in a 40-floor building. Again, this is one of these news articles that doesn't really get into the reason or the facts of why the elevator's not running. So media, do your part. Try to get a little bit more information on why and explaining why an elevator's down. Because... there's equipment out there that's really old. I'm not saying it's in this situation, this case, but there's equipment that is 100 years old out there running. And trying to get parts is not necessarily very easy. Could have longer lead times. So those are the kind of things you gotta keep in mind. In addition, you gotta make sure you are, as a contractor or a mechanic, you're making recommendations to say, okay, well, if you want to make sure your elevator's up and running as long as it possibly can be, we recommend making or putting these parts on hand to minimize downtime. Not that you can cover every type of situation, but it's just good to make those kind of recommendations based on their elevators. Not always the easiest thing to do, but if you're a building owner, look into these things. So at least at the end of the day, when your condo board says, well, we don't want to spend $20,000 for replacement parts or put them on hand, and you know what I mean? It's one of those deals where, at least they can be the ones, the ones at fault to some extent. Okay, another one here, New York City Housing Authority. Sounds awful. Senior residents in New York City high-rise without water elevator for days as pipes keep bursting. What in the world? How do pipes keep bursting? Anyway, yeah, again, I don't know if it's heat or what, but it's not easy at all. Next one, what is wrong with people? I'm going to let you read this on your own. Elderly man poops, so I'll just read it anyway. In elevator with family, they all leave without cleaning up. This is in China. Again, I'm not quite sure why this is actually newsist, or the Shanghaiist, I should say, is reporting, and why it is news, not newsist. I don't think that's a word. I'm going to call these words that I create and invent Tomisms. But yeah, what's wrong with people? This next one is a kind of a cool article that, deep at heart, I think we all love a good love story. usnews.com, university honor students who found love in an elevator in 1972. That's when I was born. And there's a placard in the elevator of Temple University where Sharon Rubin first met Eric Schlesinger as he held open the elevator doors in a dorm room. And it says, in loving memory of my wife, Sherry Rubinson Schlesinger, who first met me in this elevator on September 6, 1972, 42 plus years of marriage began with, "Hi, Mr. Elevator Man." That's cute. So I think it's a nice thing to remember, and I think it's that's sweet to for others to see that as well. Okay. Next news article, secondary elevators at the Carlsbad Caverns could be expensive. This is interesting. You don't see too many details regarding project installations, but they're talking about they could cost up to $21 million or $18 million. And the difference between, actually I should take a step back here. Stainless steel said they would cost about $12 million, while non-stainless steel would be $9 million. So, and then they put a cost of $18 million due to inflation, which is kind of weird. It's fun to throw around millions like that, but kind of amazing. It makes you realize how little information there might be out there regarding making equipment run as reliably as possible in situations and in locations like that. Because it's just interesting. It's a big price difference, but I know a lot of that stainless steel equipment is definitely expensive for sure. So interesting. Okay, this is a neat article. Grant awarded for CPA money for an elevator here. I love these old photos that show the bones of an old building. But the good news is that the Academica. Shoot. Well, this club got money to put a new elevator in. That's the long and short of it. Take that to the bank. But it's just neat to see the old bones of buildings like this and what resides underneath it. And that's where probably some of the most coolest treasures are out there that are found behind walls and boarded up elevator doors, stuff like that. Another news article from Canada, elevator retrofit strands New York residents with mobility issues. I think I might have covered this on two shows ago, but I scroll onto this one photograph where Wendy Morrow's elevator is pressing these old black buttons. And this is old. This is probably from the 50s or 60s, and you wonder what the retrofit actually includes. But it just sheds light on the importance that each of us has in what we do each and every day, whether we're inspecting, whether we're making parts, whether we are whatever we're doing. It's all important, especially for people like Wendy, anybody who has issues with mobility. In the Philippines, there's an article talking about an elevator collapses, 4 foreigners were hurt. These were all expatriates from China, apparently, or they are from China. They said that I believe the cable had broken in the story. Let's see here. Yeah, while on board the elevator, the line that held the elevator suddenly snapped just a few feet before arriving at the lobby door, causing the accident. Again, I don't know if those are all the details necessarily, but I don't talk about a cable system. But anyway, that's according to the news report. Montana State installing an elevator, just like this in Bozeman, Montana. They're installing a new historic elevator, or new elevator in a historic campus building. Ensure that the buildings does comply with the American with Disabilities Act. It's good to see money being used for that, for certain. And next news article, take notice, ambulance chasing attorneys who are blood-sucking people in the world. This is a New Jersey company dismissed from litigation surrounding Philly Building's 9-story elevator fall. This is from the PennRecord.com website. I'm not going to name any companies. You can read this, but the reality is that even though this company was dismissed from not being linked to any kind of maintenance or the cause of the accident, it still cost that company money to fight the litigation, to go to deposition. It sucks. So I wish in our country there was more common sense before ambulance chasing attorneys literally went after anybody who had a freaking insurance policy. All right, I think I said that as hard and as meaningful as I could say it. It happens all the time. You have no idea how many lawsuits companies are brought into that have nothing to do with the case, but it still costs them money to fight it. And it still goes on their loss record. So even though the news is good in this situation, still costs money for this company to fight it. And that's not right. That is not right. And in some states, you can't even go back to the company to countersue for that. If there was a law in place that said, okay, well, if you sue a company and they are resolved, they're kicked out, then you as a suer, I know that, should have to pay the attorney's cost for the company that you went after. Anyway. Not that I get sued. I really don't. But I've been through enough to just know there's just a bunch of stuff. Anyway, okay, and last news article of the show is ThyssenKrupp launches new elevator for low to mid-rise buildings. They're calling it the Evolution 200. New era of machine roomless elevators for the low to mid-rise market. For more information, you can check that out. Link is in the show notes. All right, we are going to go ahead and give away a $100 Visa gift card. As close as hard cash as you can get. And it actually cost me a little bit more than that. So I got to go to randomnumbergenerator.com. Enter my two numbers. Random.org. There we go. Okay, minimum one. Number 60. All right, so number 60 on our email list. That list actually just kind of sits there, which works out. Okay, and the winner is Andy. Andy from the state of Florida. Andy, you are the winner of the prize pack giveaway. I'll be sending you an email shortly confirming your address and your contact information so I can get this goodie box out to you. Thanks to the companies who have donated to that box and to the goodies. We greatly appreciate it. To find out who those companies are, visit the show notes over at elevatorradioshow.com. All right, everybody have a great, safe week out there. Stay cool. Watch out for the kiddies as they're crossing the street and they go back to school. And have a great rest of the week out there and weekend. Talk to you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.